Good morning, everyone. It's time to think about future pop. Future pop. I don't know, man. I don't understand. I don't understand half this stuff. There's a lot of buttons everywhere. So, my kiddo needs permission to watch permission slip to watch The Breadwinner. And I'm like, okay, but you didn't tell me. "2017. Why is this? This actually looks pretty cool. It looked pretty cool to me. I don't know. Anyway. Hang on real quick. I'm going to say, oh, hang on real quick. I have to. Okay, hang on quick, guys. He didn't. All right. Sorry, guys. Kiddo just messaged me and said, I've got a movie at 10 o'clock that I need permission to see. Can you send permission? I'm like, luckily it's the 21st century, right? So I can just email the teacher. I know his social studies teacher. It's a social movie, and looking it up, I can see the whole problem is that the movie is about, it's The Breadwinner. It's about a woman living, or a girl living under the Taliban regime. So it's politically charged. I can see that. You know what? I don't have a problem with it, though. That's a great movie to show him. So I'm going to say just send a direct message to the teacher. There we go. And then I will alert him. There. That should solve that problem, I'm hoping. What streams are screwing up? It looks like just the QuaCk group. I wonder why. It looks like this group has not actually posted anything in forever. In fact, it looks like this group is not accepting it at all. Weird. Wonder why. I also wonder why it took until today for Facebook to freak out about it enough to make Restream freak out about it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is snowing outside, which is entertaining and interesting and, you know, a thing. What if I have like a mirror? That'd be kind of cool. Just put a little mirror here and I could flip the mirror so that you could see outside. That'd be kind of cool. Let's see if I can figure that out. Because then you could look outside. I am clearly not really that interested in doing work today. I've been having a couple of days of not wanting to do work. It's all right. Maybe I'll kind of come at it from a different angle. We finished working on we finished working on the Elio 4, and I'll send that one on to Airship 27 to make sure that it looks good and solid. We were talking about this before. We were saying we're working on illustration number 4 here. I'm not ecstatic about this. I don't know why this one's bothering me so much. No. Oh yeah, I guess we do kind of have it there, don't we? Yeah. We'll take that. I'll take that. And now one of the things I will do, just so that it's easy to, we'll export a single layer as this, and I'll put SM for small. And this helps me remember that I'm doing a small version of this. Because at this point in time, I want to specify an output size of 1000 pixels so that when I send it through the email, it's not a 12 meg file of massiveness. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to send that off. I do have to give the kiddo props. The title of his email was, "I have made some mistakes." It's adorable and fluffy, but also really good about, you know, showing that he is taking responsibility for his actions. But it does make me crack up. Illustration number 4. Silver pentacle 2. Let's attach that. You know, it really kind of aggravates me that gives me all these options for previous things I have worked on, but they're all Word documents. So I can send Word documents. Like, nobody ever sends pictures or anything like that. Certainly not someone who is clearly an artist and has been doing this for a long time. And Rob. There we go. So what I'm essentially saying is not 100% on this one. So if you think that it's, if you've got feedback, I'm in for it. If you think it's good, I can chalk it up to my reservations and just move on, which is entirely plausible. Okay. I am definitely having problems with something not working today. This one doesn't want to work. View on. It looks like I am accurately moving out on all of my profiles, including my own personal profile, just not here. All right. A couple things I want to work on today. I go to my Bellatrix leads. I've got Chang Li in service outfit. And what I think I want to do is something I really want to do is make standees. So while you're standing next to my desk, there's a standee of Chang, and you can have your picture taken with her. I think that'd be great. So I'm going to try this idea here. But first things first, we're going to go in here. We're going to find a cute pose for her to be in that doesn't look stupid. You know, something where she's waving or like this isn't a bad pose. It'd be pretty big though. So, but let's go on ahead and do the perspective view. Let's do a front view flat. And the reason is because when we do this standee, I think that the thing we really want to do is now, you may be wondering, if you're new to my feed, about using maquettes. I do it to keep everything uniform. I absolutely could draw this by myself without using the maquettes, and I say this a lot, but the truth is I can be finished with this picture in 30 minutes. But without the maquettes, it'll take 3 or 4 hours. And I just don't have the time for it. So we're going to, first of all, we're going to set our render settings to go in the other direction, because this is now set for the aspect ratio is 16:9, but I'm going to do 9:16 so that we can do this. All right, we're just going to set this up. Like so. Now, the idea is I'm going to encourage people to put their arms around her. So I'm going to tilt this way. And sort of make this so that she's... Come on, grab the right spot here. Bend her hand down just a little like so. You actually tilt her neck this way a little. Bring her hand back side to side. And for way reasons, once again, upper jaw is bizarrely off center. I'm not sure why. Right? Because, like, this is something that's happened before. Her upper jaw came out of, during all of the poses now, it's like her upper jaw is disassociated, and I'm not sure why, but it's not. The thing that really bugs me about this is her upper jaw comes out and it doesn't need to. Like, it's a shaping issue. See, it's moved forward 108, and it doesn't really need to be forward that far. Good heavens. And I don't mind her teeth showing a little, that's fine. But boy, that just becomes really weird. Okay, looking back at the front view, now we're going to also go on ahead and with this, we're going to go to the parameters on this one, and we're going to just select the core here, pose controls, and we can make her smile, and so let's go ahead and bring that up as a smile. And I don't know, now I'm thinking, I don't know if I want her head to be turned away like that. Like, maybe she is taking sort of a selfie. Right, drop that shoulder just a little bit here. Okay, I hit the render button. Noticing that my render size is set stupid, so let's do this. See, that's not what I want to do. Turn on the constraints. Now we can do that. That's not going to change anything relative, but it will change the rendering size. All right, there we go. Go back to those. We're actually going to put this in here and just put it in the core. We're going to say change Andy 01. And we'll go out, back, right? So now we're gonna then take this guy, I'm gonna say canvas size. We can do inches. And we know that she is, because what we should do is change the canvas size and then change the, okay, well, first things first. She is how tall? How tall is she? I have her vital statistics in. Actually, take the top view. These squares are 1 meter. So if I rotate her this way, she's 90. It'll give us a pretty accurate lineup here. Because that's the other reason I use the maquettes. I never have a problem with my small, my small, very small, petite captain ever looking too big in this scene or too small in this scene. Or I don't. A lot of it is that I'm aware of my own implicit biases, and so I don't ever want to mess up my world here with implicit biases, right? So if I say then change image resolution, and I want this to be, say, 150 dpi, right? So 11 by 20 at 150 dpi, right? And what we should do is not do that, do centimeters and do 200 high, or 200 wide, 200 high, right, at 150 dpi. Whatever that be at 300 dpi. That's 11 times the scale, right? So height's 200 centimeters. That's 2 meters. Yeah, I'm right. Right? I mean, it's correct, yeah? Help me! Help me! Those of us that are sometimes still challenged on that one. Okay, good. So that's 2 meters, which we have done here. All right. So we take this guy, which is exactly 2 meters on our DAZ Studio scale. And we trim that part. And we trim this part, I'm totally visually oriented, so I do this stuff this way. The math isn't going to help me. It'll just make me confused. So I don't mess with the math at all. Okay. These broken wings and learn to fly again. Here. And what we know at this point is that this is 2 meters. So whatever her height is, it'll be 2 meters. We also know that this is making it very hard for Clip Studio to think through. Okay, we're going to put the standee on top. So this guy needs to be this size. Now, we now know that she is the correct size, so that if I print at 300 dpi, she prints at the correct size, whatever that size is, right? So we're going to do is take, and we're going to change the canvas size at this point. And this will tell me exactly what her height is, which is 165 or 164, I guess. Right? 163 to 164 meters, or 164 centimeters, right? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to call it 166 on this one. And then since this is a relatively so we've learned that she's about 165 centimeters tall, give or take, right? Which, that way I can tune everything to it, right? Average Okay, so it says that the average Japanese woman is 157 centimeters. So she's actually large even for because I envision that the client or the climate she came from was similar to isolationist Japan. So isolating the people, not letting them, intermingle much with outside sources, and they're based off of a Chinese offshoot. So it makes her very similar, not only physically but also culturally, to isolationist Japan / China, which is what we're headed for to some degree here. So I think actually my cat might be high. It might be big. Because I think she needs to be more of a... Let's see if I can get a meter ruler. Because I think one of our problems is that I feel like we should get printable rulers or something. Oh, these are like... I feel like this is right. Like, this is great. This is... I don't know. I feel kind of bad about this in a way. Like, I don't think it's... I feel like it's, here. You know what? New. We're going to do 300. And then we're going to say centimeters. And we're going to say height 100 centimeters. And let's make it, I don't know, it doesn't have to be that bad. 50 centimeters, right? Okay. So we've got this free rulers thing, and I feel like downloading it is going to cause me to get viruses. So what I'm going to do instead is this. And I don't know why people would want to make viruses on free rulers that teachers or whatever would possibly use. So it's beyond me. I've never understood the logic behind it. So we'll just move on from there. And I won't mess with it. So there we go. I can clear this. One of the problems I think I'm running into is that we don't have a clear metric for everything. So I'm feeling a little uncomfortable about the fact that we don't quite have a clear metric for everything. So we're going to do that real quick here. Because like I said, I'm just feeling strangely not worky today. We're going to take this. This is 1 meter's worth of measurement. If you're wondering, yes, I absolutely always work in metric. Because for one, metric is a whole lot easier to deal with than the alternatives. So that's a thing. I actually have never been horribly good at standard English. Let's see here. I'm just gonna get this lined up so that it says 25 right there. So the 25 is... It's not a major drawback or anything. It's just, it is what it is. I'm not throwing shade on the standard English system there. No, actually, I'm going to do that. Simply is what it is. Right, there we go. Like I said, not throwing shade and things, it's just the way it goes. Did I cut through the wrong thing? Are we confused? Maybe we're confused. Maybe we're confuzzled. There we go. Here we go. Moving into. Hey, Booma. How you doing, bro? We are working on rulers, apparently. These are evil rulers, though, so that's a useful thing. Yeah, because you always need an evil ruler. Otherwise, what's your story about? What is your story about? Like, you gotta think about these things. Cold day in Ohio. Yeah, it's not a warm day in Colorado. Just saying. We got snow going on out there. We already have about an inch down. Half an inch, maybe. About a half an inch, I'd say. We're not dealing with too much yet. All right, we got ourselves a meter stick, which doesn't actually reflect the meter that it is, which does not surprise me. Rulers always come up short. I like that. That's good. That's good. As far as dad jokes go, I approve of this dad joke. I'm a dad, and I approve of this dad joke. Okay, let's see what my... Good. That's what I wanted to see. So that was... That was my database. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. I like that. I'm going to use that. And my family shall rue the day. Rue the day. They are ruining. You're not ruining. Alrighty. So this is a quarter of a meter. So what we're doing here is I am noticing that I don't know for a fact that I have all of these things organized properly on my 3D model set. So as I was saying, I use 3D models to make sure that everything stays correct, proportional to one another. It is. So I keep everything proportional using this functional database, or not functional. See, now I'm thinking of databases. Keeping everything in a 3D world helps me keep everything straight. So, but then I realized that I think my 3D model of my captain is too tall. Looking at the average size of a Japanese person, she is taller than an average Japanese, and I actually want her to be the same size as current Japanese because the culture she comes from, the dome that she comes from, was 500 years of isolation, which I believe is very well mimicked by current day response to people who have been in isolationist Japan, because Japan was isolated for so long. So it'd give the same effect. But we want to make sure that I know what 1 meter is, because apparently I don't. In the 3D universe. Well, she is already DNA genetic enhanced. The character already is. That's part of the other sad part of this story, is that she was DNA enhanced and DNA bred, but that's a different aspect of the story to this particular character. Oof, it made it all mad. No. Stop not helping. You're not helping. There we go. Wow. You got taller. Like, I don't know if you need to get taller. Just saying, boo. I mean, you are who you are, and I'm okay with that. But you're pretty tall. Just saying. I mean, I'm just saying, you're still pretty tall. You are who you are, and I'm not going to ever naysay that. Don't get me wrong. Still my buddy. That'll never change. Even, if you tower over me and intimidate me a little. Just a little. There we go. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. I always will. My grandfather was also, fandom is family. Absolutely. Absolutely true. My grandfather was also a tall person at 6'2", and so I remember him talking about how he didn't like to intimidate people. He didn't like to scare them. So I appreciate that as well. And he was very soft-spoken. Like that was a big deal for him. I figure. It's funny, of all of the people in my life whom I think are actually threatening, you are not one of them. Neither you nor B-Dan. Both you and B-Dan are both very tall, very calm, very gentle people. I really respect and appreciate that. And admire it. That's the wrong layer. Well. You see a mistake we have made here? We have made a mistake. Here is the mistake we have made, folks. That mistake is that we are a centimeter over here. Oh, absolutely. But not with your buddies. As long as I stay your buddy. You know what I mean? All right. I have now made 1 meter, half meter, and then quarter meter markers on this. And I think what I might do is taking that I have made half meter, quarter meter, meter. So, my great-grandmother's sister was named Mita, but my great-grandmother was from Arkansas, so she was Aunt Meter. Just saying, she was Aunt Meter. And that's the truth. And it took me until I was like in my mid-20s to learn that my great-great-aunt was actually Mita. I didn't even know that. I thought her name was Meter, Meter. I was just trying to figure that out. I was like, I don't know. And so I was like, okay, Aunt Meter. Gotcha. Aunt Meter. Yep. So that's one of my classic grandmother stories. So my great-grandmother was known by grandmother by all of us, even the great-grandkids, because there was only 3 great-grandkids. So we just kind of followed suit and called her grandmother. And I mean, she passed away when I was 24. So I knew her through my entire childhood. She was a fixture of my childhood and well into my 20s. So I actually was able to sit down with her and have adult conversations with her, which was a little strange. But anyway, yeah, so grandmother, I digress. Grandmother stories are one of my favorite stories, and amongst our family, the favorite stories as well. When my sister was born, my parents went to Meter. Oh man, see, there's just so much that could go here. My sister was going to be named Rhea. And my grandmother said, Rhea? Why'd you name a girl Rhea? And that was the end of that. Boy, my dad wasn't going to call her that. That cracks me up. Because that's my grandmother right there. She didn't like the name Rhea. So it became Rhea. Yeah. That's my great-grandmother, folks. Welcome to the world of Sally Lavender. Anyway, storytelling is one of my favorite things. Needless to say. So this here, we're just going to call this my Aunt Meter. Right here is my Aunt Meter. Girl, named it. Imagine naming a girl Anime, right? Anime. Who's this Anime anyway? Why you all having a convention about her? Keep having these conventions about this here girl named Anime. I don't know what your problem is. I hate to say that I could totally see her doing that too. And you know, half of it would be, is she trolling me? I think she's trolling me. You know, you know what I mean? Like, totally think she's trolling me. You never know with grandmother. You couldn't tell whether she was trolling you or not. Sometimes she was trolling you. She was really sharp. It's like sharper than you'd expect. All right, now what we're going to do is I'm going to duplicate this layer and take this layer and rotate him 90 degrees. Right, come up here, work like so. And I'm like sitting here going, what am I doing to this? Am I being confusing? I'm being totally confusing. Why am I being confusing? For reasons. I think the funniest part is that I just totally swagged in on this one and made this three sections of a quarter meter without even realizing I was doing it, which makes me sound awesome. So I'll just sit here and say, yes, I'm awesome. When in reality, that wasn't intentional at all. But that's okay. All right, moving in here and kind of doing this number right here. All I'm trying to do is dig out this corner here a little bit. To some degree, that's true. And legitimately, who knows what's going on here in the world? But yeah, leaving a little bit of a legacy of what I did in my life. Everything is sort of that world here. We're just kind of being and hanging and doing. We do the best we can, right? So let's duplicate this layer, and I'll do the same thing. So in this case, I'm going ahead and rotate it to here, and then rotate it to here. And then once I clean this up a little, we'll have ourselves a nice little cube that, you know, is useful for whenever I make things in the real world over here. All right, I'm going to hit multiply on this guy, and that'll make this wonderful little disaster area up here. I'll actually do that too. So, yeah, it's confusing and stuff, just like it should be. Well, what good's the world if you're not confusing? You know? I think I'm taking all of this. I feel like I'm being just a little too careful on some of this stuff. Yeah, see, I think we've done too much because we got rid of our ruler here. We got rid of the evil ruler. We shouldn't have gotten rid of the evil ruler. Here. Right? Yes. It is true. We are the sum of our actions and behaviors. When you lose a family member, what's left behind are their words, their actions, the things they did. One of the reasons that I'm actually kind of intrigued by what we're doing here on this is leaving thousands of hours of recordings for my child, which someday he will go back and perhaps watch them, or perhaps not. Maybe he won't care. Maybe he will be interested or won't. That's up to him. But regardless of which way it goes, the end result will be that it's there. He wants it. And if he's coming in right now from some time in the future, I hope he knows that I loved him, because that was important. And really, maybe that's probably all, right? Ah, yes, that's what I was. Long after I'm gone, there will be a day. It's all we can hope for. It's all we can hope for. Yeah. We'll be fine. We'll make it. Yep, I hope that my kiddo has the opportunity to read this. It doesn't, in fact, end up, saying, I remember my dad was once on a thing called YouTube that was part of the world before, as he picks up his machete and starts slicing through zombies or something. These are the things I really hope for. There we go. I'm just cleaning up the lines. As an artist, yeah. Rest in peace, Kevin. And he was posting on social media up until October. All right. I have now made a thing. I'm not sure what this thing is exactly, but it is 1 meter, and that is very useful. Kind of feel like I should crisscross this to this, make this a more of a maybe red and white and less of the I don't know. So we know what you're doing. No. You ever know what you're doing? No. I never know what I'm doing. It's better that way. So instead, this isn't a miter box. This is a meter box. Important not to get those confused. But I am confused by this, so I'm kind of doing the, moment here of maybe what I will do is take this centerpiece here. And redo it, because the colors are just uncomfortable to me. So I'm going to go here and do this, because that was uncomfortable. It was just too confusing. I don't even know what I was doing. I have no idea what I was doing. So instead, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make another layer. And I'm just going to take these rectangles here, and I'm just going to maybe do this. Maybe check the box out of it, because that'll help me a lot. Duplicate the layer. I know how that goes. Good to see you for the second that you were here, Andrew. Thank you, my friend. Always good to see you, and always good to have your support. Alrighty. I promise I will get back to Bellatrix Rising. I promise I will. Happy snow day. Happy snow day to you as well. I could take a car in to get a tire figured out. Widgeted? I don't even know what to do with the tire. So we'll have to see how that goes. That's today's 5th level spell. 5th level spell slots. All right. Now this is probably a little bit more comprehensive. What I can do is then take this and put it on top. There we go. That's a much more comprehensive thing. It's a little bit easier to read. I'll also take this and kind of do a 50% out of it. There we go. Oh no! Oh no! With the window down! But your Firebird's so pretty! I don't know, man. Firebird is a beautiful, beautiful thing. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. With the window down. Oh, my heart goes out to you, man. I keep thinking about that a lot. Like, no cars have manual cranks at all anymore. None of them do. And I keep thinking, it's only really a matter of time. It's because really, honestly, electric motors don't have a whole lot of horrible on them as far as, you know. JPEG, we'll call this a 1 meter box for measuring. It's a winter bird. It's a snowbird now. It's totally, that's what we're calling it now. We're going to call it a snowbird now. It is white, and so now it's a snowbird. Which means that if you ever go on a road trip, it will stay in Florida. So you need to keep it away from Florida. You keep it away from Florida. You'll never get it back from Florida. It'll move in there. It'll find itself a nice garage. It'll live there. It'll get a little Mai Tais every morning. It'll be horrible. Trying to convince it to come back is going to be difficult. All right. And there's our story of the snowbird. So we're going to create a new primitive. I want it to be 1 meter square. So we're going to make it 1 meter like so. Move her over. We're going to put this here. We're going to put this there. And this is our 1 meter. Our surface. Okay, we're going to take a browse. We're going to come out of here, go into Guide the Artist, where I just made this 1 meter box, and it lives here. It's going to take it a second. And what it does, we're going to do the same thing and do a 1 meter box right here for this guy. And this will be this way. So I'm loading it into the ambient color box as well. Flamingo decals. Yeah, that's right. It'll. I envision this already. Like Andrew takes his car to Florida, and then he comes back via plane, and he just has a whole bunch of pictures of like his Firebird in different locations with little flamingos driving it. You know, the Firebird's got little martinis. It's on the beach. It's, you know, reclining in a little chair. And it's like, I couldn't bring it back. It just went back. It didn't want to come back. It just wanted to stay there. Couldn't convince it. All right, we're gonna call this here the USS Flamingo, USS Snowbird. All right. This is only funny because I actually have a pseudo parent who actually did this very thing. My best friend's mom, she used to live here. She was live at Evergreen and all kinds of stuff. And she did the same thing, went to Florida and then just said, you know what? I'm not coming back. And now she just lives down there. We're like, okay, well, that's a thing. So she's perfectly content. She's happy as a clam, but she lives in Florida now. It's her thing. And I'm like, okay. So I say this with a lot of great love and absolute endearment to the fact that this is a real thing that happens to our parents now, apparently. Who knew? So that's a thing. All right. Got this 1 meter box. I'm just going to make sure it's lined up properly. Later, Andrew. Have a good day, man. Fighter fight and kill Marxists. What are we encouraging on this show? Who are you people? All right. Now we've set up a 2-meter box and a 2-meter grid. Let's just move over Captain Chang and make sure that she is the right altitude for this, because I am starting to wonder whether that is a thing. So we know we want her to be. So we'll put her, this is what's called a T-pose. And actually, we should do this way. Because now that we have this, we can do a perspective view. Wow, it's way too close. And we'll center her on this. So she's centered out. Okay, all's good. She's already at 80% at this point in time, so this is actually a good thing. It doesn't mean that I've thought about this. At least that means that it's stupid. So, because it sometimes is stupid. So that's, doesn't matter. Anyway, okay, now rotating that one. We're going to rotate this one 90 degrees up and move it back just a hair. I'm going to rotate this guy 90 degrees up. And I want to look at this from the direct front at this point. It's 10:21. I'm going to probably have to bow out a little early today because I've got a luncheon with the other dads in the dad group at 11:30. But I got to drop the car off at the tire repair people first. So I've got a couple of things I'm going to be doing today. Clamp. There we go. Left view, make sure these guys are lined up properly. We'll never see it this way because they're flat. I'll make you here. What are you? Z translate 13.1. There we go. That lines them up. See you later, Robert. Oh, I'm not leaving just yet, though. But just so you're aware, I'm going to probably bow out at about 10:45. Would be my guess. So I've got about another 15 minutes we're going to do here. But we're going to do some work real quick, make sure that she is the correct altitude. So I'm not out of here just yet. So we got Li Chang. We're going to make sure her scale is correct. This is important because we've got, I'm going to make a cutout for her. What we're going to do is I'm going to print her out at full scale, 1:1, a 1:1 scale, and have her as a standee and take her to conventions. So when I'm tabling at a convention, I'm going to have her standing on one side and maybe have Mayrel on the other side. And we'll see. I might have other standees. We'll figure it out. But I figure what I'm going to do is make a standee that just snaps together so that it will be in like maybe 4 sections. And then you just click them together so that they just click, 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 or maybe 3 sections, whatever's the smallest that I can get, or the largest that I can get away with, and still be able to transport it on my cart. But these are going to be the Bellatrix Rising signs on either side of my table to kind of illustrate the thing. But first, I'm going to have to see whether she's the right height, which she isn't. She's about, looks like about probably, she looks like she might be just a hair too tall. So let's go on ahead and bring the ruler in close, because I want her to be about 1.52 meters, and she's 1.64 meters. See, we'll do the QuaCk, and we'll have the QuaCk sitting on the table, and we've got these standees on either side. Now you're catching on to what I'm after. People will walk by the table and go, wait a minute, and then I'll have comics. And they'll be like, hey, I want these comics because here's a character. And I'll say, have your photo taken with the character, go on ahead and take a selfie. It's great, it's all cool. So we'll go on ahead and do that. Let's go on ahead now. Let's take Chang, and she is standing at 1.86. So if I were to shrink her down to there, that's 1.57, right? 1.57. There we go. So 1.57 is actually her height on the ruler. I think that's awesome. Moving right along here. And what I will probably do is say this and just render just this section right here, which will put her at 1.57. Render. Because the ruler is way too washed out. It's fine. I figured that was going to be a thing. So go to surfaces, go to 1 meter box. The diffused color is that. The ambient color really should just be like 3/4. Oh no, it's the specular. It's the problem. It's not the ambient. It's the specular because it's shiny and it should not be shiny. See what that came out? Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? And now I've got her face. It's big. Chang on the ruler. That's bad. That sounds horrible. That's right. That's right. What am I doing? What are you doing? What is anybody doing? Does anybody know? All right. So now we've got a corrected ruler for Chang. I actually kind of just want her standing straight, normal. Right? So if we were to go over here and just do standing poses, right, I just want to put a standing pose. Be nice. Right, because that puts her there, and I can just twist her. Let's bring this around. Chang, the evil ruler. She's not evil. She's too fluffy to be an evil ruler. How could she possibly be an evil ruler? She's super fluffy. All right. And that'll put able to do this as a measurement of where she is to somewhere along the line. I was going to do a practical operations sheet, which shows like how tall all the characters are actually on rulers and things like that. And so this is actually useful. And it's been something I've been meaning to do for a while, which is just come up with an idea of how tall everybody is compared to one another. And how tall are the Chakrana? How tall are the Jacine? How tall off the ground are they? I mean, because the Jacine hover, because they're floating in a brine in the real world, in their real world, and they're just holograms in our world. So they just show up right here, you know. The Han Solo gunslinger pose. Hi, I'm Han Solo. Right? Look at the swagger on her too. Like, there's like a really nice S curve going on here. In fact, I kind of like this. I think I'm going to just put her hand behind her here, and then that'll be good enough, I think, for what we're after. Right, bring this in like so. This way she's not. That way you can kind of put your. Except now I feel kind of like her weight's off balance. Like there's a reason she was putting her hand forward like that. It's kind of offset the weight. So I'm going to go on ahead and just bend her over just a little bit this way to give her balance back in. This light needs to be just a shade this way. All right, like that. There we go. Much better. And then I'll give her a smile. Like so. And I'm not opposed, right? I'm not opposed. This is that one. That smile's a little weird, but okay. Doesn't matter. I'm going to redraw it anyway. Put that in. Anyway. Now, put her back in the T-pose and save just her. Chain Lee surface. We don't need the meter boxes. We don't need the camera. Just accept her. And the reason I did that was because I yeah. Change looks to address the individual crew. There was some discussion in there was some discussion earlier about the idea and the concept of where did I put her? It's the Bellatrix base. Right, we'll do this because I like this better too. She looks cooler. This pose came out cleaner. So I'll take this and I'll copy it. And I'll go over here and I'll paste it. And she's tiny. It's all right. Now that we know relatively right. A little taller, maybe. Maybe. There we go. It's kind of like the Doctor, except that you had slightly more mobility. Well, no, it's just pretty much like the Doctor in the early days before the mobile emitter. Minus 5 degrees Celsius out there. Oh, God. Okay, so yeah, that's what I thought. She's now slightly smaller because I brought her down to 1.57. So here is 2 meters. This is a 2-meter box. So now having done that, right? Makes sense. And then now that I've done this, I'm going to change the canvas size to fit her size itself. And then I have to move this to chop off her head. I'm going to do that. There we go. Do this, flatten this out, and then we go this, and we say this. Ooh, Dougie, this became a big picture. I may regret my life choices. But on the same token, I'm not getting the resolution enough to see like all the freckles in her face, which is part of the reason why I do this, so that I get her freckles correct every time. So I may decide instead to back up to here and re-render this from here, but this time go to my render settings, and instead of having a height of 2,000, I may do 6,000, right? And that means that when I hit this button, we're going to get into some serious thinky stuff, which makes this entire PC slow all the way down. So I'll see you in a few seconds. There we go. That wasn't so bad. The resolution of this standee is better. Here's what's going to happen here. We're going to do not save that. We've already saved that. So then open. And this is much better. You can see the resolution is much clearer. I can see all of the freckles on our face, which is the important part. Still smaller than what we've got on the board, but that's okay. I'm going to move it all the way down to the bottom, because this will allow me to line it up. It's her head we're going to have to line up. Right? So we're going to do this. There we go. And then we wait. Clip Studio is now using almost all of its thought processy stuff. Its thinky things are really working today. All right. Now with that, we can move this under here. We actually can just take this and then flatten it because I don't need to worry about it anymore. Because this gives me enough that I can work really nicely on here. Now the question really is, when I start actually putting in ink, is this going to completely flip out? Nope, it seems to be running just fine. However, I do feel like this is a little thin. I could probably be at 100 pixels. It's going to be pretty decent. Right? We get a little double image here because of the fact that this wasn't exactly lined out. That's all right. It's got to be, at this point in time, I've got to remember that there will be some scrutiny because this will be really close. We'll be able to see every little inking detail because everybody will be right up on it, right? So, you know, kind of wiggling lines like that's not going to help us anymore. Every detail on her uniform will have to be very carefully scrutinized. And I'll be able to add details that we don't normally see. Like, we don't normally see the "See you later, Bob," or "See you later, Booma." Boy, just had issues. All of a sudden, name fail. I will see you at another time, my friend. All right. There. It's actually running really smooth up here, and I was kind of surprised. I was not actually expecting it to work like it was supposed to, but it's working pretty good. This is so close that we can clearly see all of the different sections there. Since this will be a color picture, usually with Chang, I don't I don't generally do the iris with Chang because her eyes are just black brown. I mean, they're so dark brown that they're black. However, since this will be a color picture, we're going to have to do it a different way. I'm actually going to call this Chang Standy and save it. And as we are at 10:45, and I have 15 minutes until I have to leave and take the car to the shop. So we're going to go to the shop. That's what we're going to do. And drop the car off. So I'll be able to finish this, but not until later. So at some point, if you guys come to a convention, I will have the standee. Excuse me. And she will be standing there, and you can take your picture with Captain Chang, who part of the humor of the character is that she's tiny and small. So that will be part of the entertainment value of it. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I will talk to you all later, and remember to keep your eyes on the stars. Goodbye.